Good morning, my friends, and welcome to New Day. It is about to be monsoon season up in Studio B. We are very excited about our very first guest today. She's a two-time RuPaul's Drag Race winner and Broadway breakout star, Jinkx Monsoon. Born in Portland, came to Seattle to study at Cornish and honed her talents at the Fifth Ave Theater and the Seattle Shakespeare Company. And now she's back in Seattle rehearsing her new tour, which is going to be her biggest one yet. Welcome back to New Day, Jinkx Monsoon.
Hi.
Oh, we are so excited to have you here.
Oh, thank you for having me.
You know, frankly, we couldn't believe you found time. You've been very, very busy.
It's a busy time, but it's a good time. You know, it's like when you're busy with work you love.
Yeah.
It's fun to be busy, but the tour rehearsals have been going great. You know, I've been working with Major Scales, my music director, here in Seattle. We lived and worked here for 12 years. We started our cabaret careers at what was the Rosebud. It's now St. John's. And, you know, we honed our skills as performers here in Seattle. So anytime we come back to Seattle or the Washington area, the Northwest
The Pacific
at all,
Northwest.
you know.
Coming home to the
it's
nest.
Special, yeah.
I love that. Well, first of all, congrats on getting married. You know, we're talking about it's been 2 years. You've also made your Broadway debut playing Mama in Chicago, which is one of my favorite musicals. What's that like?
It was absolutely incredible. Like it was one of the hardest jobs I've ever worked, and also the most fulfilling, and also I feel like I got a year's worth of education in 10 weeks, you know. It was like everyone I performed with, Charlotte D'Amboise, Lana Gordon, James T. Lane, Evan Harrington, we just like, Ryan, Ryan Lowe, everyone's names are flooding back to me. It was just like, it was a dream come true every single night.
So here you are, this is a video of you performing Mama on RuPaul's Drag Race All Stars Season 7, which you came back to, and then, I mean, you won, you're fabulous.
Yeah, you know, if there's one thing I learned at Cornish College of the Arts, it was competition for the sake of creating better art. And I took that mentality into every time that I did Drag Race. It was like, you know, I don't necessarily like being cutthroat or super competitive. But if we want to show off who's got certain talents in certain areas, I'm gonna show up for it.
Yes, you are. Competition for the sake of creating better art, and you did, and you won that competition. And then you filmed Doctor Who for the BBC. I mean, the spread of the things you do, I mean, it talks to your talent.
Well, you know, Cornish again, and my career as a drag artist, both things kind of coalesced to teach me how to create your own work, how to explore lots of different avenues to find different ways to be fulfilling your art form, you know? So I've now worked as a little bit of a stand-up comedian, a writer with Ben de la Creme, our holiday tour. You know, we're about to do our 6th year writing a brand new show.
I was gonna ask about that, and there you are.
You know, so I've been a cabaret performer, I've been an actor, I've been on Broadway, but this is not unusual for a drag queen. This is what we prepare for our whole careers. We just do it in dive bars and, you know, in cabaret spaces, but we're preparing for careers in basically anything.
It is, and it's such beautiful art, it's performance, and it can be comedy, as in this new Netflix series that just dropped, or actually I should say the Hulu series that dropped last week, Drag Me to Dinner, this hilarious, it's a faux competition show. All right, so if you can imagine what that's like, I cannot wait to see the entire thing.
This is competition for the sake of better comedy. Drag Me to Dinner, again, Ben de la Creme and I, whenever we team up, you can count on a meticulously overthought, overanalyzed swing at the prompt. But we have so much fun on that show, and it's very special because it's actually the final performance of a drag legend, Heklina. She actually passed away recently, and she had performed with our friend, my drag mom, Peaches Christ. My drag mom, Peaches Christ. So it's, it's a really special show. It's another way to celebrate the art form of drag with, positivity and levity. And it's special for those of us who knew Heklina to get this last time capsule,
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Neil Patrick Harris is in it. Look, y'all just go on and look at the trailers, and then you go watch it because it looks hilarious and delightful. But you are about to kick off a new tour. I want to talk about that. You're in Seattle to rehearse for that tour, right?
Yeah. So for years, Major Scales and I have been performing kind of intimate cabaret evenings. We've written like 10 original shows between the two of us in ranging topics. And AEG, this wonderful production company who, said, "Hey, kid, you got moxie." They said, they wanted to help us put on a bigger scale tour. So now it's me and Major Scales and 4 other people to create a 5-person band. I've been working on artistic visuals with local videographer Frank Correa. Special appearances from my friends Brandon Rogers and Ben de la Creme and Liam Krug. This show is kind of like a showcase of all the things I love to do. It's like it's got stand-up comedy, music. If you're a Jinkx Monsoon fan, it's like come for the grand buffet. If you've never seen one of my shows, then we do this all the time. This is normal for us.
You mentioned your drag mom earlier, and I just think it's such a special and important thing to have someone who is your mentor. Do you have anything that you would tell your younger self or anyone who's trying to break into this scene? Like, this is what they want to do, they love, but they just don't know how to grab it.
I think, again, the biggest thing I learned is in my life is being prepared to create things for yourself. If you don't see things in the world that represent you, be the person who starts advocating for that. Be the person who fights for that. I've been careful every step of the way to apply for the roles that I know I can do well. And along the way, there have been people who have looked past gender identity or how I am perceived and just looked at my performance and said, you got the part, you know? And I think we are shifting to be more like that in terms of, racial diversity, gender diversity, different representation on stage, And I think we're going in the right direction, and people just need to be supportive of that and stop holding on to outdated notions.
Your role in Chicago as mom, a perfect example of really just...
I wasn't going to say it was a perfect example, but you said it.
Because it really is. It just makes sense. And I just thank you so much for sharing sharing your story with us, your talents with the world. Will you stick around for one more moment? We're going to talk about Pride Month in a second. We'd love to have you.
Absolutely.
All right, perfect. All right. Well, the Seattle date for Jinkx's Everything at Stake tour is sold out. I'm sorry, friends, but you can still get tickets for the Spokane show. That's at the Fox Theater on August 13th. It's worth the drive, right?